Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to make a portfolio site using Bootstrap, HTML, CSS, and a little JavaScript. So to get started, you can create a new folder for the project, and in that folder, using whatever text editor you use normally, just create an index.html file. So let's go ahead and start writing some basic HTML and filling in the home page. So we can go and add the doc type, which is just standard HTML syntax. So doc type HTML, add the HTML tags, the head, and we can close the head. We add a body tag, close the body, and then close the HTML. And in the head, let's just add a title tag, and we can just say my portfolio. And let's go over to W3 Schools. I use this just to usually get the CDNs for Bootstrap. I'll put a link in the description. So we're just going to copy all of this, which has the Bootstrap CSS, the jQuery, JavaScript file, Popper, which is used for dropdowns and everything, and then the Bootstrap JavaScript. Let's go ahead and paste this in our project. Remove these comments for now. And actually, let's put this in the header. Okay, so we have that. So this is going to let us add styling to all of our elements really easily by using classes. So the Bootstrap CSS comes with a bunch of preset CSS classes that we could just add on to our HTML elements and it'll make them look nicer. So we're going to actually be using W3 Schools for a lot, just copying and pasting some of the code. So I'm trying to show you how fast you can make a site on your own. So let's go ahead to the Navbar, and let's go down and find the collapsible Navbar. I like that one because it makes it look nice on a mobile website, which I'll show you once we put it into the website. So copy this, come over to your HTML document, paste it in, and we can just remove some of this, make it look a little cleaner. And here where it says Navbar, this is just going to be the title of the website in the Navbar. So we can just say my portfolio for now. You can always change it to whatever you want. You can put your name or anything you want. So let's go over to the HTML file in your browser. So to do that, you just go to the folder, you can double click on the HTML file, and it will open. So let's refresh this, and you can see it says my portfolio and 3 standard links. So this is all using Bootstrap. So I'll show you what it looks like if we remove this. So we take that out. It looks kind of ugly, and it would take a lot of work to do all this manually. All the work that Bootstrap does for you. So we have this, and you can change the color if you want. There are a lot of colors. Let's see. You can do like background light, Navbar light. Yeah, so that you could do a bunch of different colors for the Navbar. Or you could just even add your own CSS to change the background color. But for now, we're just going to leave it the way it is. So we have the Navbar. Let's add some links that we're going to be using. So let's add a home link, about, experience, and then we'll copy this last list element tag here, and we'll say contact. And in these href attributes, let's just go and fill these in. We didn't make the pages yet, but we'll just fill it in for now. So index.html, about.html, experience.html, and contact.html. So now if we go over to our website, refresh, we'll see that all these links are filled in. And if you highlight over them, on the bottom left down here, when I highlight over, you could see it says index.html, about.html, all the different links. So it might look nicer if we move these over to the right. So let's do that. So I'm pretty sure it's on here, the Navbar nav. We could say ML auto. So we added class ML auto on the unordered list element in the class string. So ML auto, it sets the margin left to auto. So it's going to set the margin left to as much as it can. So push it all the way over to the right. This gives a little bit more space. So let's go ahead and add our next element. So we could create a new tag called header, and let's add a class on that. We can call it Jumbotron. This is another one of Bootstrap's classes. So we add header jumbo with the class Jumbotron, and let's add an h1 tag and say welcome. Okay, so we have Jumbotron class here with the h1 element saying welcome, and below let's add an h4 tag and say welcome to my portfolio website. And then if we go back here, refresh, we'll see that we have the h1 tag and then the h4 tag that we added below. And we could try adding different classes from Bootstrap, see how it looks. So let's add like a display, I think it's display 4. And it kind of makes it look a little nicer. If we want, we could add a text center class to the surrounding div and it'll make it look centered. So this is a very simple home page. If you want, you could also add you can copy this and add sections below it. And you could remove this padding here, or the margins. And then you can add the about section, all that on one page. Or you can make it multiple pages, which is what we're going to do, just to show you the navigation between multiple pages. So this is the basic home page that we're going to start with. And let's copy this. So in Sublime, we just do Command-Shift-S or Control-Shift-S, save as, and let's do about.html. So now we're in the about.html page, and let's remove this Jumbotron that we had in the home page. And then let's add a div with a class container. You might see I'm doing this, I'm typing like this, where I do div.container, and then it fills it in for me. That's a feature in Sublime. So in Sublime, you could do div dot and then the class name that you want in the element, or div hashtag container if you wanted the ID container. In this case, I want the class container. So we have div with the class container, which is going to add margins on the left and right side of a box. So if I just type hello here, and if we go to our website, go to the about page, we'll see that it's not all the way to the left. It's kind of inset a little bit. So let's come back here, and then let's add a h1 tag with the class display 4, like we have in the home page. And we'll say about me. Let's go back here and look at it. So we see it says about me. So then we can go here, add an image, and then we could add a paragraph below it. So let's just go to, we could use Google or whatever and just find an image. So person icon. So find whatever image you want. You could use an image of yourself. I'm just going to do this for now. So copy a link address. Go back here and you could paste that in the, I want to use that one. So you can view the image or open image in new tab. Make sure, yeah, it's PNG. So we can copy this link, close these, go back to our code, and paste the link of whatever picture you want in the source. So it should end in .png, .jpg, or .jpeg or something. And then in the alt tag we just say picture of me. And by the way, this alt tag is used if for some reason someone can't see the screen, if someone is blind or something and they have a reader. So it'll find this element, if they click on it, it'll read them what the element is. So it'll read the alt tag here. So we have that. So let's go over to our website and see how it looks. So it's a little big, so let's go ahead and shrink that down. So we'll say width 20%. So that's pretty good. So let's copy both of these and create a new div. Put those in there. And then on the div, let's add a style tag and say display inline block. And then in this paragraph, let's just add lorem ipsum text. So we can go to lorem ipsum just to add some placeholder text. And let's generate, just grab one of the paragraphs and just paste that here. Now let's go back to our website, see how it looks. So we have the picture with the like a description of ourselves here. So let's get rid of this display inline block and see how it looks. Yeah, so I don't think we really need that. And let's actually say on the div class row, and then on the image, let's get rid of this width. Say class column dash say 3. Okay, so since we're using columns now, let's take this column 3 off of the image, and then let's add a div around the image. So we could put the image inside a div, and then on the div, let's add a class column 3. So now if we go back to the website and refresh, it looks better. So it's aligned, and in the image is the right resolution. So we have this. This is a basic about me. So we go home. We have this. Welcome to my portfolio site. You go to about. You have a picture of yourself, a description, and then let's go do the experience one. So let's do another Command Shift S or Control Shift S if you're on Windows. Let's do experience. And we could leave the container in the H1. Let's just remove this part. So we could change this to say my experience. So you could do this multiple ways depending on what kind of layout you're looking for. Just to make it easier, I guess let's try to avoid JavaScript for now, or as much JavaScript as possible, just do with the HTML CSS. So let's go ahead and add one div and say class card. Open this and then say div.card header or div class card header. And in the header, let's do h4 to say job 1. And let's go over to the website, refresh, and then click on experience. So you can see we have job 1 here. So let's go back to our code and then create another div inside the class card but outside the card header. So say card body. And then here is where we could put the actual description of what we did. So let's say at this job I did this, and then below that, let's put this in a p tag. Below that, let's add an unordered list element, and then let's add some list elements. So one thing I did, another thing I did. So we have, in the card body, we have a paragraph where we could describe some basic stuff that we did. Then an unordered list where we just list it's like a bulleted list of some other things that we did. So we can save this, go back to our website, refresh, and we see it says job 1, at this job I did this, one thing I did, and we have an unordered list of stuff that we did. So if we want, we can go ahead and copy this card, the div card, paste it below it. We can just change it to job 2. If we go back to our website and refresh, you can see it's job 1 and then job 2. And I don't really like how it looks with this like kind of hugging each other. So let's go on the second card and say style, margin top, 20 pixels. Save this, go back. You can see it moves down a little bit. So it looks a little bit nicer. So this is one way you can keep it. If you like it like this, you can leave it like this and not do what I'm going to do next. So another way you could lay it out is before the cards, let's add a div to the class row. And let's copy both of those cards and put both cards in the div with the class row. So we have both cards in the div with the class row. And on the divs where it says card, let's add column -6 on both of them. So now if we go back to the website and refresh, you can see it's 2 columns now with both cards. It looks a little messed up because we added the column on the card element. So to make it look better, we can remove this column from the card and add a surrounding div. With the Bootstrap classes, you kind of have to play around, and sometimes you have to put it on in a surrounding element or something just to make it look right. Because it's a lot of abstraction of the different styles, as opposed to you writing all the styles yourself, so you don't really know exactly what styles are applying on each thing when you add a class. So we added a surrounding div with column -6 on both cards, which is going to give each card a width of 6. So the entire width of the screen is always 12, and these column hyphen something, you can make it, in each row you can make them add up to 12. So in this case we're just going to have 2 of them, so 6 and 6. If you wanted 3 of them, you do 4, so column -4, column -4, column -4. So they all add up to 12. So if we refresh, we can see it looks better. The headers look nicer. And let's just go back to our code and remove this margin top that we added before. Save it and go back. And then we can see it looks a little bit better now with the card headers, and they're nicely aligned in 2 columns. So this is our experience page. So we have the home, about, experience, and let's do the contact one. So let's do another Command-Shift-S or Control-Shift-S if you're on Windows, and save this as contact.html. You can name the files whatever you want, but you just have to make sure you're consistent with the file name, and then also in the navigation of each page, what you call it in this href. So now we're on the contact page. So we could leave the navigation, and then let's remove this row that we created. So this is what the page should look like. So we left the container, and we get rid of this my experience and just say contact me. And you could add whatever you really want here. In this case, let's just add a couple inputs with like a send button, and then we could also add like phone, email, and stuff like that. So we could try maybe see how it looks. Let's try adding a div with a class row, and then let's add 2 columns. So two divs with the class column -6. So this is how it should look now. And then in the first column, let's add a table. And on the table, let's add a class table, which just makes the table take up the full width and makes it look a little prettier using the Bootstrap class. We're not going to put any headers, but let's add a row. We're not going to add a t-head element. So let's just add one row, and in the first row, let's add a th or table head cell, and let's say phone, and then let's add another cell td, and we could just say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. So we can copy this row, and we can say email john@gmail.com. And we can copy this again. We could say name John Doe. And if you want, you could add like an address or whatever you want. 93 Blueberry Lane. And you could add the rest of it if you want. And on this email, let's make this go down to a new line. And let's add an A tag around it. So like this. And in the href, let's add mail to : you can copy your email address and put it after the colon. What this is going to do is make it so when they click on the email, it's going to open their default email client, and it'll automatically open a new email to this email address. So we actually do the same thing with the phone. So we can just copy this A tag. We get the phone to a new line. Paste this A tag in front of it, add a closing one after it, And then instead of mail to, we'd say tell. We can get rid of this email address, and we'd say +1. So if you're in America, you do the country code of 1. And we'd say 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So this way, if they click on the phone number, if they're on their mobile device and they click on the number, it will open or ask if they want to call this number. So let's look at our work so far. So we can come here, go to contact, and we can see we have a nice table with a name, phone, and if you click on it, it will ask to open FaceTime on a Mac. If you click on the email, open my mail client, and then you have the address here. So in the next column, let's add a couple inputs. So let's just say, actually, page 4, send me a message. We can save this and just look at it. So send me a message. If we go back to the code, let's add an input. And let's say placeholder, enter your full name. Let's add the class form control, -control. We could copy this, paste it. We could say one more time, and then we could change placeholder to email. And then let's add a text area. So let's get rid of all this default stuff on mine. And you can't do a placeholder for text area, so let's say message above it, or we could say label message. And then on the text area, let's add a class form control again. It'll just make it look nicer, add rounded borders and stuff. Send me a message, full name, email, and then the message here. So let's add a little spacing between these, make it look a little nicer. So on the input here, let's say style, margin, top, 20 pixels. We can copy this style and just add it on the label here. So we have this nice form here with full name, email, and a message. And if we want, we can copy all of this or cut it, create a form. You can leave that blank for now and just in the form paste where we had the inputs in the text area. So this way, in order to actually send the message, you'll need a server-side code, which is like a PHP mailer. And you could just download like templates of this online somewhere and you just put it in the same folder. And then when you put all this code on your server, it will actually send the message for you. So under this text area, let's add a button. And we can copy this style, margin top 20 pixels, put it there. And then let's add a class and say button, so btn, hyphen, let's do primary. And then inside both button tags, let's say send message. So if we go look at our code now, we can see we have this button, send message. So this is basically the layout of a simple portfolio site. Not the prettiest portfolio site, but we did it pretty quickly. And you could always change around the styles. You could look at the different Bootstrap things that they have available here, or you could add your own CSS if you want. So that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks.